Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's video I invite you to join me in a delightful draw with me session, so grab your sketchbooks and feel free to draw along as we get a little bit creative. This is my first video where I have to talk for nearly 22 minutes and I find it quite difficult actually. Normally I'm pretty good at rambling if I'm comfortable enough, but this is something else. But given we're in the festive holiday season, I decided to create a whimsical holiday themed drawing. After about an hour of carefully browsing through Pinterest, I stumbled upon a fantastic reference image that really inspired me and I couldn't wait to get started on my interpretation. One of my favorite holiday traditions has always been baking sugar cookies, which is a big part of why I chose to draw this particular reference. The image captures the cozy, festive spirit that comes with the joyful activity of holiday baking. However, while sketching, I found myself feeling a bit off about how the drawing was looking. Everything kind of seemed wrong and looked out of place. And looking back now, I realized it actually wasn't as bad as I thought. I was just in my head, and maybe art block was playing a little bit of a part in that. To embrace the holiday spirit, I dressed the characters in some warm and cozy sweaters. One of them has a stripe on their sweaters, while the other has an apron on with a checkered pattern that I thought really complemented nicely. And I made sure that there was cute accessories like the hat on the head, and the other character has a candy cane hair clip with some holly berries. I really like to do while sketching that I learned in a figure drawing class is drawing the shapes of shadows as I go. So as you can see around the nose, there's sort of these interesting, almost, what's the word, quotation mark like shapes that are near the eyes. And there's also a little bit of like a triangle shape near the nose and sort of this almost moon-like shape underneath the chin, and just adding those shapes of shadows really helps define the character before you render. I initially struggled with the counter in my drawing. The perspective was challenging and arranging the items on the counter added to the difficulty. And the spatula that you'll see in particular is my least favorite element. I've had a very difficult time getting it to place correctly and I still think it looks a little crooked, but I decided to kind of move on. As I developed the piece, I wanted the characters to display a certain contrast to one another, and therefore I chose to keep the color palettes similar but switch them up for a little bit of complement. So, one of the characters I gave a bright red sweater, while the other one had a rich green one, and I made sure to balance the colors nicely so the character in the red sweater has more green accents, the character with the more green sweater has more red accents, and therefore creating a harmonious yet contrasting visual effect. During the rendering process, I dedicated a significant amount of time to the character's hair. I had previously established that the lighting source was coming from above, which made it more interesting to explore and define the lights and shadow areas in their hair. And I particularly enjoyed working with top-down lighting scenarios because I find they simplify the drawing process, and especially when art block is heavily present, it makes it just a little bit easier. I really enjoyed adding the fluffy part to the hat. I used a bunch of smaller dots to stick them together to achieve kind of a wool-like appearance, and additionally I had fun working on the metal part of the cookie cutter. Making things look shiny is always enjoyable. So here we have where I'm doing the shading. I decided to use a nice purple color since I kind of knew at this point that the background would end up being a similar color. But I did the lighting first because then I, at that point, was establishing where the lighting was going to be so I would know where the shadows would need to be placed. At a certain point, I decided I wanted to render the hair quite a bit more than I already did, so I started adding some lighter blonde colors and really making sure that some strand detail was visible. After the hair, I then started to work on the counter and the things on the counter, so I added that sort of shading and started working on the bowl, which I really enjoyed doing the bowl and making it look more 3D and making the indents in the bowl really pop. Started to render out some of the extra lighting on the clothes. because it needed to pop a little bit more on the sleeves and make sure that that lighting and extra hair rendering was really visible. Adding colors to everything in this drawing was so much fun. I really liked that limited color palette, especially red and green, because red and green is such a nice combination to have. And I really enjoyed figuring out how I was going to balance with just these two colors, how I was going to make the characters look different. Really enjoyed adding the lights and shadows to the rolling pin. I don't know what it is about it, but using those purple and more reddish purple tones and the peachy colors that kind of reflect from their skin and that beautiful tan golden brown was so interesting. I feel like it just really turned out very 3D, at least for me it looked that way, and I really enjoyed it. liked adding the extra orange warm lighting, and making the pom-pom on the hat fluffy looking was so fun. So very fun. That Santa hat actually is my favorite part of the drawing, probably. Like, I had way too much fun with that. And it kind of reminds me, like, the pom-pom on the hat kind of reminds me of like a Pomeranian. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but there's these pom-pom craft kits where you can make a pom-pom dog, and it has little black beaded eyes, and that's what it reminds me of, and I kind of love it. Background, I chose a bluish purple color because it complements both the green and the red pretty nicely, and it creates a dark contrast without using black. And additionally, I incorporated a touch of orange to add some warmth to the background so it's not all so cool toned. Wanted to write Happy Holidays as if this were a holiday card, but for some reason it took me so many tries to just write Happy Holidays to where I thought it looked good. And then I ended up kind of copy pasting it and making it a different color to give this kind of cool shadow effect. And I really like how it turned out. It looks really pretty. after I finished writing Happy Holidays, I decided to add some sort of snowflake details just to make the background a little more interesting. And also, snow is cool and it's the holiday season. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. I hope you got to draw along, and comment down below what your favorite Christmas tradition is, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!